Hey, everybody. I know I'm starting a minute late, and I'm so sorry. I am having the same issues. Hi. With computers and Instagram. So I had to go and get my other computer, restart that, log back into YouTube. The other computer's down here doing some kind of demonic thing. And then, as Instagram loves to do, you go to hit live and it just won't go live. It just doesn't want to do it. So I am hoping, there it goes. How's everybody doing? Happy solstice. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, it's summer solstice. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it's the winter solstice. And depending on what time zone you're in, it's either today on the 20th or tomorrow on the 21st. So it does depend on your time zone. So for example, in Pacific, the solstice, the sun goes into Cancer, and the solstice is at 8:32 p.m. I'm pretty sure it's 8:32 p.m. Pacific. So for Eastern, that would be 11:32. And then, of course, if you're east of that, you're into June 21st. So just depends on where you are. So feel free to chime in and say hello. Let me know where you are. Yeah, and how you are. If you're on YouTube, remember I only know you're here if you put it in the chat. Otherwise, I don't know you're here. I am working on a smaller computer, so the screen is a little bit harder for me to see. Hey, Kathy. Yeah, thank you. I got back yesterday evening. And Mercury has been a bear, I will tell you. I don't know how you all have been going through Mercury retrograde, but Mercury is stationing direct on the 22nd, so that would be Tuesday. But Mercury is basically standing still right now, so just not doing anything. And yesterday, traveling, it's all good. It's all good, and it is what it is. And if you sort of just roll with it, you just get through it. But let's just say my luggage was at my front gate this morning at 8:32 this morning, 8:23 this morning. So that was interesting, but then all my computer difficulties. Anyhow, it was a great trip. It was work, but I got in a lot of playtime. And it felt really, really, really good. And I was with some people who, oh my gosh, I laughed so much. Just laughed and saw just some really beautiful, beautiful places, and ended up in some spots that were passing no other people, except the people with whom I was And yeah, no, really great. Anyhow, everyone else doing okay? Everyone good? Everyone good? All right, so let's get started on some Sunday synergy. Hey, Alice. And that is for this week coming up. So that would be June 21 to June 27. Yes, good morning from Sydney. Hello. I've been in 3 different time zones in the last week, so I feel like I'm a little bit fried. So I had to do a little getting, back in. Yes, how is the future looking from Sydney? Everything okay? We should all ease into Monday pretty well. I will tell you, let me tell you one little thing, which again, I was glad my luggage made it, but I don't know if any of you work with howlite crystal. This is what it looks like. You can see that. Hey, Dostez. So this is howlite. It's just a small piece. But this crystal is such a great one to have in your toolkit. It's wonderful for calming. Oh, your water bottle is Howlite? Oh my gosh. Wow. So yeah, it's very calming. It's very helps you with patience. But the other thing it's really good for is sleep. And so I struggle when I travel because I like my room to be a really certain temperature, and sometimes that's hard to get when you travel. And so by putting a piece of Howlite, tuck it inside your pillowcase, obviously on the side, not underneath your head. And it's really, really good for sleep. So, and it's effective. So I would recommend having this in your toolkit for other things too, but particularly if you need a good night's sleep. Now, I can tell you quickly the story about going downstairs to work in my hotel, and housekeeping was not supposed to be coming because they had already changed out my linens when I arrived because I wanted feather free and they hadn't done that and blah, blah, blah. And so I was downstairs and I needed to make a phone call. And instead of just stepping out of the room, I said, you know what, I'm going to go up to my room. I didn't need to go up to my room. I could have just stepped out of where I was, but I went up to my room. And when I did, housekeeping was in my room and she was vacuuming, and I saw she had changed the bed linens. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is where being bilingual comes in handy. You know, where are where are the linens? Where's the pillowcase? And they were in a cart down the hall. And I said, I have got to find this. So she went down the hall. She found the cart. She pulled out this bunch. I said, are you sure those are my sheets? I mean, I'm not touching them. Are you sure those are my sheets? And she's shaking, and she gets to the very corner of the pillowcase. And what did she find but this? So had I not gone up to my room, this would be gone. But I did, and it's here. And it would have almost been gone again, but my luggage arrived. So you see, things are good. Okay, that's the story about Howlite. But put some Howlite in your toolkit for sure. All right, let's get started with cards for this week. So I am working with Power of Surrender. I thought as we are coming up toward this full moon, let's work on being focused on what it is. You know, we've worked out of the new moon, and so what is it that we can move away from? What are we stepping away from? What is it time to transition from? And so I thought Power of Surrender would be offering some good guidance for us. So meant to be. It just is. All right, so let's get a card here for Monday and Tuesday of this week. Monday and Tuesday. A card for Wednesday and Thursday. We have a card for Wednesday and Thursday. I think you are. And then a card for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. All right. So again, these are the cards for June 21 through June 27. And remember, even though I'm putting out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, these cards sort of move, right? And the energy just accumulates and carries. So take what resonates with you, apply it where it seems applicable, and keep some things in mind. Sometimes things aren't totally apparent, but they will become more obvious later. So keep all that in mind. Yeah, be careful with crystals in hotels' pillowcases. Yeah. Well, actually, I kept it on the nightstand the first 2 nights for that reason. And I said, I need it. I need more intensity from that Howlite. So I stuck it in the pillowcase. Oh well. Okay. Monday, Tuesday. Surrender negative thinking. You have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say thank you for sharing and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. So, Instagram. Instagram, you know, you always see things backwards, right? And here you go, YouTube. Okay. So right now I'm doing general readings right now. These are general messages, and then I'll pull cards after for questions and requests. So Monday, Tuesday, surrender negative thinking. I posted a thing on Instagram about emotions that, remember, emotions are like visitors. They're just passing through. It's the same with your thinking. You can allow a thought to come in and pay attention to it, catch it, see why it's visiting you, but don't attach to it. And that's the negative thinking. It's like when you attach to something and you keep running down, you know, chasing that thought further and further and further somehow, because it's going to maybe justify something for you. Maybe you're angry about something. Maybe someone did some injustice and you just have to make it right. And negative thinking is going to really be sure you are right. But you don't have to attach to it. So we all have negative thoughts. They come in your head, but be mindful of it and let it go. Recognize it, do something constructive with it, and then let it go. Okay, but try not to let that negative thinking run over you and take you down some paths that really aren't serving you or whatever situation you're dealing with. Wednesday, Thursday. Ooh, surrender your fear of intimacy. You are ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. So, Instagram. So, for those who are interested in new relationships or maybe are working on a new relationship, this is certainly something to come in. And for those of us who may be in a relationship and there may be a block there, maybe there's not such great communication about needs or boundaries or something like that, you know, that also is intimacy, right? It also can apply to platonic relationships. I mean, we have intimacy on all different levels, right? It doesn't always have to be a romantic relationship. So surrender your fear of intimacy is letting love in on all levels. So even with people you don't know, maybe you tend to, when you're around strangers, maybe you tend to retreat. Maybe you tend to hold yourself back and put up a wall because you feel like that's safer. You're blocking the flow of intimacy. You're blocking that flow. And so this is saying, give it a try. Look at some of the patterns that you run that put blocks to that, or that tell you, you know, again, going back to negative thinking, you know, well, I can't do that because, you know, da 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 da. So let that stuff go and see what it feels like. Try it. Okay. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, surrender your need to always be right. And that's exactly what I was saying at the beginning of the week. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Oh, how hard is that? Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. So here you go for Instagram, and coming back here to YouTube. So at the beginning of the week, let's put all of this, well, the end of the week, surrender your need to always be right. So I always say, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? So sometimes we are right, and sometimes we do have to stand up for that and make that known. And I think that that's important when it really matters to the situation in terms of perhaps safety or, you know, directions. Instead of driving 50 miles this way, you know it's that way. You know, there are times when we have to speak up and be right. But a lot of the times when we feel like we have to be right, it's just our ego driving that to say, I'm right, and I need everybody to know that. When if we can let that need go, then we can watch what else happens organically. Maybe that other person has something they need to learn. Maybe there's a discovery they need to make on their own versus us, hitting them over the head with, this is right. So let it go. It says by yielding, not rigid. So maybe just leave an opening for someone to maneuver. Leave someone space to maneuver. Because you being right, it's going to, if you're right, you're right. And it'll come out and people will know when it needs to be known. But otherwise, what's the point of jamming it down someone's throat, right? So coming to the beginning of the week, surrender negative thinking. Whatever it is that pops in that takes you to a more low vibrational place or puts you in a position above someone else, because by having negative thinking, then we can maybe edge up on someone, get the upper hand. So let that go and try to play more on an even playing field, because then that fear of intimacy will be easier to let go, because now we see ourselves as the same. We see ourselves as one and no longer opposed or against each other, right? And that comes with the need to right to be wrong, the need to be always right. It'll be hard to open your heart to intimacy if you have to keep being right, if you have to keep telling someone they are wrong. So it seems like this week, and by the way, the sun is going into Cancer, and Cancer is nurturing. And so I think this week it's really taking some time to go to that gentleness, go to that calming place. I was just talking about how light. Go to the place of patience and be patient with yourself and try some things perhaps outside of your comfort zone. That's important. How else can you surrender this unless you go outside of your comfort zone, right? Okay. Those are the messages for this week. Alice says, so interesting. These cards are definitely on point. There's a real need to be open and just allow. Yeah, I mean, what's that thing? The truth will set you free. I mean, what is. So do we have to be so demonstrative about it? I don't know. So check that out. Okay, so those are the general messages for the week, and I have some card decks on the table, and I'm happy to pull cards. So if you have a question, put it in the chat, or if you just have a request for a card and you don't have a specific question, you can just put in that you would like a card, and I will pull one for you. So I know the chat's been rolling a little bit. Alice, may I have a card on taking a leap of faith? What are you taking a leap of faith on? Okay, let's see. All right, let's get you a card on taking a leap of faith. What card do we need for leap of faith? Oh, on yourself. Okay, then I am going to this deck. Well, in my mind, I was going to this deck, but my hands went to Crazy Sexy Love Notes. So that's where I'm going. Crazy Sexy Love Notes. Let's get a card here for Alice for taking a leap of faith on herself. Bravo. Bravo. Okay. Let's get a card here for Alice. I'm taking a leap of faith. Card for Alice. I'm taking a leap of faith. I went to Crazy Sexy Love Notes, but that's where my hand went. But my mind was going to Wisdom for Healing, so I'm going back to that deck. Wisdom for Healing, and I can have a card right there, right? For Alice. Okay. Spend the day with God. So let me first and foremost say that everyone has their own definition of God, and I embrace all definitions. So whatever works for you, you interpret this, okay? And the lesson, so this is a two-sided card. So spend the day with God. And the lesson is, this is a good day for you to spend with God. A day of prayer, a day of silence. Imagine that your entire world is a sacred chapel. Every inch of your life is filled with grace and the presence of the divine. Your goal, to visualize yourself in the company of heaven every minute of the day. So this is what the card looks like. Here you go, YouTube. In terms of taking a leap of faith, you know, to have faith in yourself, you have to believe that you have everything within to begin with, right? Otherwise, we go to this fear-based stuff that we saw in the general messages. And so taking that leap of faith is to say, go within, find the God center within, and find that divine place within, and know that you are supported, and know that when you operate from that space, then you can take the leap of faith, because it's not a blind leap. You know this is where you need to be going. And so the suggestion of the card is really getting in touch with that. Visualize yourself in the company of heaven every minute of the day. And so think about what it is for you to, what is heaven here on earth, right? Like, what is that for you? Where is that place of real peace, of comfort, of knowing that that everything about you is right? Where is that place? And find that place and get familiar with that and spend some time there. And then from there, taking a leap of faith will only make perfect sense. It will make sense to go in that direction, because you're going with what you feel inside, right? If we can't get in touch, and I know I say this, if we can't get in touch with what we have inside and we keep running from up here, then those leaps of faith we sort of think of as like this big thing, you know, oh my gosh, how do I trust that? How do I, right? Because we have too much running on. But when we come to that place of within, and we come to that place of really knowing self truly, then leap of faith makes perfect sense. And there's no second guessing. That's what I would say. Okay. Does Tez, can I have a card for love? Ooh, yes. Let's see. Alice has a comment. Yes, it's so true. I'm starting to understand that I navigate the shifts and changes for myself, not for others. It's an important lesson I'm learning, and grateful for the support of the universe. Yes, and my friend, you are the universe. Okay, does Tez, a card for love. So I'm not sure if you're looking to invite love in, if you are looking to support some love, inner love relationship already. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to go to self-care here. This is also a two-sided deck. So I'm going to self-care for Daz Tez for a card for love. And I just saw the word love flash by. Woohoo. So let's get this. A card for Daz Tez. A card for Daz Tez for love. Oh, ha, ha, ha. In a relationship. Ha, ha, ha. Didn't I say I just saw love flash by? Look what popped out. Look at that, YouTube. I love it. Choose love. Let your love become a powerful force for change. All right, everybody, that's all I got. Okay, so In a relationship, choose love. I think, Tez, this goes right underneath these 3 messages for the week, particularly if you're talking about being in a relationship. Choose love. Keep going to love. So when negative thinking pops up, when the mind starts, getting you running down these paths and bringing some stuff up, go to love. When you start to feel a fear of intimacy, a fear of that new relationship, a fear of expressing your needs or setting your boundaries, choose love. If you feel like in the relationship you need to set someone straight, again, sometimes we have to set people straight, and we have got to do it, absolutely. But sometimes we just, it's our nature. We just always need to be right. We always have to be right. Got to be right. Got to be right. It's freaking exhausting, and it's exhausting for everybody around you. So choose love. So choose love. Let love become a powerful force for change. And the thing I would say about that in your relationship too is go to the space of love, not love that needs something or someone to love, or not love that needs to be loved, right? That's a different word of love. For me, this card is about the purest part of love that is all within you. That is you. You are love, and not the relationship that we depend upon other people to feel and express love. But if you can come truly, and it's a little bit what I was saying to Alice about spend the day with God, if you can come truly to your pure love, then everything vibrates on that level. So choose love over anything else. Okay. All right. Did anyone else have a question or a request for a card? Anyone else? It's very warm here today. YouTube, I saw some chats, but it looked like somebody retracted their message. Okay. So I wasn't sure if anyone wants to put that message back in. So let me know. On YouTube, I'm sorry that the camera is so dark. It's with my old computer. All right, so maybe we're done. We're done for the day. So coming into, that answered your question. Great. Great. So coming in for this week, everyone, remember, surrender negative thinking, surrender your fear of intimacy, and surrender your need to always be right. I mean, you can see how those 3 go together. And then we take in choose love is really great. Okay, we have Archie Breck. I'll request a card, please, but I don't have a specific question, just a general pull. Sure, of course. Yes. Okay, let's get a card for Archie Breck. Archie, I'm inclined to go to Oracle of the Unicorns for you. You're welcome, Alice. I was excited to get back. Okay, so Archie Breck. Let's get a card, Oracle of the Unicorns for Archie Breck. Let's get you a card for general guidance for Archie Breck. General guidance for Archie Breck. Okay. General guidance for Archie Breck. Nope, nope. Sacred Destiny. Have a card for Archie Breck. Okay. So we're at Sacred Destiny instead. And your card is Action. Ooh, here you go. Action. So here you go, YouTube. I mean, look at this. You've got a roaring ocean. You have storm clouds. You got a lot of activity going here. So in terms of a general message for you, take action. What is it that you're looking to do? Now, you may be in this period of a little bit of a pause, particularly as I was saying at the beginning, where Mercury is starting to station direct. So Mercury is pretty much standing still. And so we may feel like things aren't quite moving. And maybe even the past 3 weeks, maybe we felt like things weren't moving as quickly as we wanted. And we can go back to how light for a little bit of patience. But action is coming. So if there has been a pause, if there has been a hold on things, if you've been waiting for some things maybe to come into alignment, or maybe you just don't feel like the opportunity's been just right, it's coming. And when it shows up, it's going to be asking you to take action on it and not let it pass by. So keep your eyes open. Be prepared, going back to Alice's question about how do you take the leap of faith, you will know when it's time for you to step. But this is suggesting, get ready. Something's going to be moving and something's going to be, and by the images on the card, perhaps it might be like a big wave coming through, maybe a little hard to miss. So keep your eyes open, keep your heart open for it, and take action on it. Do it. Surrender all of these fears: negative thinking, fear of intimacy, need to be right. Take the action forward. You're welcome. That felt good. That card felt good. I love Oracle of the Unicorns, but it just wasn't the deck for you. Okay, anyone else have a question, or would anyone else like a card, or is it nice and quiet and it's time to roll off? So I'll be back next Sunday for Sunday Synergy. So I hope you see you all back here. Laurie's asking for a general card for her. All right. I am going to Oracle of the Unicorns. This deck wants to be used today. I just need to find the right person. And I think it's you because this card was sticking up right away. Okay. Freedom. Live wild and free. Choose your freedom. Claim your independence. Here you go for Instagram and for YouTube. So goes all of the surrender for this week, the messages for this week: surrender, surrender, surrender. When we can surrender all that stuff, we truly can be free from all of our inhibitions and our fear-based thinking and anything else that just isn't resonating with our forward motion. And so this is saying, claim your independence. So by being independent, maybe it doesn't necessarily mean going off and living by yourself and being independent, but it means being independent from attachments. Because you can't truly be free if you keep attaching yourself to expectations. You keep attaching yourself to negative thinking, to fear of intimacy, for the need to be like all of those things that we attach ourselves, we inhibit our freedom and our ability to move around, right? So this is saying, claim it. Live wild and free. I love it. And look at the unicorn, like, angel wings, in motion, flying, goes back to Archie Breck's of action, taking action on something and feeling the freedom to do that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we are wrapping up today, everyone. I thank everybody for jumping on. It was good to see some of you folks back and good to see some new folks on. So thank you so much for joining. I will be back next Sunday, as I said. If you're not subscribed to my newsletter, Drops of Goodness, I always welcome new subscribers. So you can drop it. You can find the link in my bio and down below. You can always watch the replay if you missed any part of this reading. And yeah, I wish you all a beautiful solstice. So winter solstice in Southern Hemisphere, right? Shortest day of the year, and summer solstice in Northern Hemisphere, longest day of the year. I was just in Alaska, and it was broad daylight at 3:45 a.m. So that was so great. But anyhow, I wish you all a beautiful week. Have a great week, everyone. Be gentle with yourselves. Be gentle with others. It's going to be good. And I'll see you next time. And when you want to book your own reading, you let me know. Okay. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you for your patience during my technical difficulties. Okay. Bye, YouTube. Ending the stream. Okay. Bye.